44 what if questions while I color in this national park's coloring book. What would you say to that? That I have 44 what if questions, and all you have to do is relax, color two if you want. Or just consider the situations as they present themselves. It's up to you. I will open this at random and color whichever one it opens to, okay? Yellowstone. You can see the clouds. And there's a bison down here. The first what if question is, what if plastic was banned? What if plastic was banned? What would happen? What if plastic was banned? Here's the progress. And our next what if question. What do you think would happen? What do you think would happen if computers took over the world? What do you think would happen if computers took over the world? What do you think would happen if computers took over the world? Would it be a better place? How do you think computers would run the world? Would they do a good job? Here's the progress. What do you think would happen if there was no electricity in any region of the world for an entire year? What do you think would happen if we lost electricity for an entire year? What would happen? What do you think? Would you survive? How Next what if question. What if everybody in the world suddenly spoke the same language? How would the world change? Here's the progress. The next what if question. What if numbers and mathematics were suddenly erased from everyone's mind? What if numbers and mathematics were suddenly erased from everyone's mind? Imagine it. Numbers and mathematics. No way of counting. Here's the progress. And what if we were all on one small glass dome in an alien's collection of planets? What if we were all in one glass dome on an alien's collection of planets? How would you take that news? We're just part of the collection. What do you think? Are we? What if every single religion is accurate and the gods die over time? And that's why religions keep changing until eventually there is no God, since everything has been created and we are now self-sustained. What if, what if, what if? What do you think? Do you think that's possible? What if, right? They're just admiring us right now. It's a possibility. What if people cared more about doing the right thing than doing things right? What do you think would happen? Do you think the world would be a better place? Would it? Do people care about doing things right? What if they care about neither? What if people suddenly lost the ability to feel empathy toward others? What if everyone suddenly lost the ability to feel empathy towards others? How do you color with Sharpie? Figure it out. What if you could not make your own decisions and you had to choose someone to make them for you? Who would you choose to make your decisions for you? And why would you choose that person? How would reality shift if sharks could walk on land? How would reality shift if sharks could walk on land? Donna, 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 Donna. What if the moon had never formed? What if the moon had never formed? What if the moon had never formed? What if we found dinosaurs that are still alive and they're living on a remote island? Would you go visit them? Honey, we're taking a trip. We're gonna go see the dinosaurs on a remote island. Yeah, it's a romantic getaway. That will be fine. You know, some say that we may eventually evolve to not have any toes. What if we all lost our toes now? What if? No toes. No toes. Look, Ma, no toes. If you could remake a movie where every single actor but one was a Muppet, and the movie would be acted out completely seriously, it would be a recreation of the movie of your choice. The only thing is that all the actors are Muppets but one. Which movie would you choose? And which actor would be the only actor to not be a Muppet? I know that's a loaded question. Do you have a few ideas? It's a hard one, isn't it? What would happen if all the matter on Earth was replaced by blueberries? Blueberries. All the matter, everything. Everything is blueberries. What would happen? What would happen? It'd be like that girl in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Only everything, everywhere. We've actually evolved from blueberries. It's raining outside in case you hear any additional sounds than this. But what would our chairs look like if our knees bent the other way? What would our chairs look like if our knees bent the other way? Be some funny looking chairs, huh? It'd be natural for us though, because all we would have ever known was our knees bending the other way. So hard to fathom. I don't know what you're seeing at Yellowstone. What would happen if the Earth started to spin faster? What would happen if the Earth started to spin faster? Whoa. What do you think would happen? What if every time we went to take a photo, instead of hearing the shutter sound, we heard a woman screaming? What if that happened? Would you take as many photos? Would selfies go obsolete? I'll just continue with my green cloud now. Are you picturing it? What if you could remember everything from the time you were born? How would that alter your life now? How would that alter your life now? Everything. From the time you were born. It's a lot to remember. You'd be knowing things maybe you weren't supposed to know, huh? What if you could look exactly how you want it to look, just by envisioning it? What if you could look exactly how you want it to look, exactly how you want it to look, just by envisioning it? What if you could? What would you look like? A little light pink going on. What if we all had a talking companion like the donkey in Shrek? What if we all had a talking companion like the donkey in Shrek? Donkey. Donkey. Okay. Be fun. Progress. Dr. Seuss Yellowstone. How do you think humans would eat? How do you think humans would eat if they couldn't chew? How would humans eat if they couldn't chew? What if the stars above, overhead at night, what if they were actually cameras that were filming our every move, recording everything that happens on Earth? What if, what if, what if? That'd be freaky. Freaky, 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 freaky. Sentient skateboards. In the name of sentient skateboards, I ask you to stop immediately. I got green clouds. What if Neanderthals had not gone extinct? What if Neanderthals had not gone extinct? Would you hang out with them? Would you party with the Neanderthals? Party with the troglodytes. Troglodyte. If you were a scientist and funding and ethics weren't an issue, which experiment would you carry out? This one. What do you think would happen? What do you think would happen if all the oceans dried up? What do you think would happen if all the oceans dried up? What would happen? That would be a crazy world. Would we be on Mars? Is that Mars? All the oceans dried up. No more life. A sad world. What if you could spend your life never sleeping? What would you do with the extra hours in the day? What would you do? I would make more ASMR. Have more time to make more developed skits. Because I like the role plays. Getting a little loosey-goosey over here with my lines. What if humans had eagle vision? Eyes on the sides. Can you imagine? Just me and my eagle vision. Casual, casual. I wonder if there are human birds in another place. What if that was regular reality? What if we just lived in a world of hybrids? What if we already do? What if there was a war happening underwater and we had no idea? What if there was a war happening underwater and we had no idea? Who's the war with? What if AI could recreate human life? What if AI could recreate human life? What if? Little AI babies running around. Kind of already is recreating human life, isn't it? A little bit. Just a little bit. What if cats were actually the first race on Earth and they settled here from outer space? Cats. What if we kissed? What if we kissed? Would that be weird? Should have a kissing booth. Do people still do those? More purple trees. What if public libraries were open late at night every night? So that instead of going to a bar or being forced into domestic isolation, you could go there and be social instead. What if public libraries remained open late and could be nice, healthy meeting places for people to socialize? Oh, what a world that would be. Alright, we've got our purple trees. What color should the grassland be? The grassland. There's the grass so far. The grass so far. What if Area 51 is an entrance to the real world, and we are actually in the real Area 51? This would make a lot more sense. What if we can't go faster than the speed of light? Because the areas we're traveling to need enough time to load. Because we are in a simulation. Yeah. What if we just started ignoring celebrities? They posted something, they got 3 likes. Technically, it's in our power. What if the phantom feelings that we experience throughout the day are actually the ghosts of the choices that we didn't make, leaving us? Pretty crazy. The ghosts of what could have been. Almost there. What if our dreams aren't made up? I mean, what are dreams anyway, Where do they come from? Where do they go? Where do they come from, Cotton Eye Joe? Almost there. It's looking good, isn't it? What if you found who asked? What if you found who asked? What color were these mountains? I think we have our final scene. What if I